go.
What's up, brother? What brings you in today? Dude, you look huge.
Dude, you look huge. That guy's doing this fine morning. Oh man, 8 o'clock. 2 p.m. BST. Sounds like 8 a.m. by me, Lord Vladik, is the first. And so you can pass it off if you wish. Thanks to the bigs. It would be wild if you could get a Ghoul King that was half monster, half knightly king. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. What's in a Startaz? It's a pretty good student film.
Welcome to the live Warhammer Day preview online. My name
Hello.
is
All right.
I'm joined by Eddie, and today we've got some super,
Let's turn you
super
up.
exciting
Let's turn you
news
up.
for you today. But first, before we get into that,
Eddie and Lois.
Warhammer Day.
Yo,
Pleasure to be here, Lewis. So Warhammer Day is a
Vampire?
celebration we have every year just to celebrate all of our favorite things.
Literal
about
vampire
Warhammer.
detected?
We find something about that's going on in
Yes.
Warhammer.
He's
to
compromised.
be the theme of it. And this year, the old world, the kind of land that started it all, which was the
do we have a
setting of the
bingo card? We do
original,
not.
Warhammer 40
I almost
years ago
stole a
today.
different content
Swords
creator's
and
bingo card,
sorcery
but I
and
did
magic
not.
and dragons and,
Not for
all
any
that good
principled
stuff.
reason, by the way. I would
Big
steal it
units
for
smashed
sure.
into
It just
each
wasn't
other,
very
which
good.
is where I started playing Warhammer as well. That was my first game.
So pretend we
Not 40
circle
years
loads,
ago.
which we already get to because I already said it, and then
It's
we're just
also
gonna
not just
see.
myself and Eddie here today as well. We've
Oh,
got Nokia
bingo.
moderating in the chat. Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Strategist, the mighty Necron overlord.
Is this good?
Imatech,
Do we
the
like this?
Stormlord. So, some of you might remember the classic anonymous serving resin miniature. It's now
He has a
available
cobblestone
for great
sidewalk
prices.
for a
Refresh
cape.
this.
That's cool.
Imatech's had beef with
That's
the
not
Red
bad.
Templars.
Yeah, he's got beef with a lot of people. So, as you say, this is a new plastic version.
He's
of
got
a
the
classic,
claw. He's going
character
for the
reborn.
claw.
He
Nice
has,
staff.
fought against most of the races of the galaxy. He's one of the very first Necron overlords, one of the very first Pharaons to kind of wake up from the long slumber of the Necron
Pharaon.
sleep, where they were ready to retake the galaxy. And because he was kind of first awake, he decided to kind of claim quite a lot of the Necron Empire.
First
for
to
himself.
wake
So
up.
He was like, right, I'm up first. I'm in charge here. So some of the early battles the Imperium had against the
I'm in
Necrons,
charge,
like
yeah.
Sanctuary 101.
Anyway, this guy's cool.
kind of the very first
Yeah,
contact
this guy
battles they
seems
had
alright.
against them. This
I
guy was
don't-
the mastermind behind some of those battles.
Morning crew, am I
Since
right?
then, he specifically had.
He was cursed with
fights
the
against
first,
Red
yeah,
Templars, I should
exactly.
say. He's squared off against Helbrecht a couple of times, and those fights have gone both ways. But there's particular enmity
Who's
between those
Helbrecht?
two. But his main
Squared off
rival
with him.
really is the Silent King himself.
Imatech's pretty
who's
cool,
a
lore-wise,
self-proclaimed
pompous
ruler of
asshole of a
the
Necron overlord, but he's got the
So
reputation and the
Imatech
ability to back up his
woke up
talk.
first. He thought
Ego
maybe
gets
he'd be
him
able
in
to
major
kind of
problems,
secure
though.
his grip on
Has
the
a
Necron
tendency to
Empire,
let
and then the Silent
generals
King
go
turned
to
and said,
spread the
"Actually,
word of his
this is
coming."
my birthright.
Okay.
I'm in charge. So Imatech's maybe not too pleased about that. So there's
Right.
definite politicking
Asshole
going
Mummy
on
King
within
in
the Necron court.
space.
Those two are not fans of each other. It's fair to
Cool.
say.
And what are some of these weapon loadouts here that he's got?
Yeah, so
Yeah, let's
Imatech
see the
is
weapon
a
loadouts.
solid all-round character, so he's pretty good in close combat. He's got his kind of hefty
Wakes up in an
broadside
empty
there.
landscape,
He's also
looks
got a
around.
revolver
This
fire,
is
basically, so he's got a kind of
mine.
inbuilt heavy flamer in his hand.
Fucking loads out.
And he's also a very
Well, he
strategic
does
as well.
send
He
out
knows
emissaries to
how
let
to
people know of his coming.
So, yeah, he's a very good all-round leader for your army. So if you're looking for someone detachments to
I don't
play
know.
with,
Back in the olden
much like we've
days,
seen with the
some of my
with the
friends
Space
played
Marines,
40K,
it's very much
even though I
leaning
did
to a
not.
certain type of play. So
And
you can have
Necrons
your
were like forbidden from
for,
having any
like,
personality or
massive
being
phalanx
interesting
of
because they
troops,
were
which is
like
the same kind of way that
literally
you
just
your current
Terminators,
index.
you know, and that was
You've
their
also got
shtick.
things like,
And at some point they
Necron
decided,
lean
damn,
heavily into
we got to give
using
these guys
objects
personalities and like make
or
them interesting in
that,
any way.
use lots
And I think that was a good decision.
teleporting around the battlefield.
I think that was a good
or
decision.
use lots of things
Because they added a lot
like,
of character to
Blade-
these
Blade ones,
Necron guys.
destroyers and stuff like that.
The Necrons.
So, yeah. Worth saying as well, the Stormlord
Your hopium is cruel
one
boys?
of the
Alright.
new models that's on its way for the Necrons. It's not going to be the only one, but is the one we're showing today. So if you like your Necrons,
It'd be
they
cool
did
if
pretty well
when
out of
Fourth
the
Ed
last
was
edition,
released,
before
Skaven was the
that, and
highlight
stuff.
army
Haven't
that they
quite
used to
finished it.
refresh the range. That's actually my prediction.
Right, interesting.
Seraphon got it, Slaves to Darkness got it. I think Skaven is next, and I think it's going to be a launch
So,
for Fourth
shall we
Ed.
move
Yeah,
on?
let's move
What
on,
have we
see
got
what
coming up
next.
next? Yeah.
That's my tinfoil. And after them, finally ogres, but not really, because it's never ogres.
Still sniper. So
Scatros.
couple of weapon
Is that what they
options
say?
here, Eddie. What are these that we've got?
Yeah, so this is a brand new unit for the adaptable
This guy's
characters. We
cool. I
haven't
like
seen
this.
guy before. He is a.
I like Stilt Boy.
Kind of Adeptus
Stilt
Mechanicus
shooter,
sniper
tall
adventurer.
shoot.
So he fits in with a lot of the
The shoot
aesthetic
taller.
we've seen of Lots of the other things in the
I like
Adeptus
this
Mechanicus
guy.
army, which is you're on these irradiated dunes. You probably don't
Adeptus
want to go too close to the
Mechanicus.
ground because it's almost certainly radioactive.
Yeah.
It also wants to get himself a nice view of the battlefield.
Almost certainly radioactive.
It's
Yeah.
a really wild and wacky miniature.
Yeah.
It's very, very.
Yeah, Knight,
it's
go,
very
go,
fun to do,
gadget
right?
legs.
It's really unusual. You can sort of imagine it kind of ungainly wandering around the battlefield.
Yeah.
But the way this guy works,
Yeah, just
in lore is that
gangling
he'll kind of find his
across
spot
the
and then perch
battlefield
really
there.
useless, right, and kind of ready to kind of pick out key targets and take them out. And
Jules
there's a
Verne
couple of,
style
options
AdMech
in terms of how you want to take this guy out. So you can either give him
I like
an
exactly
anti-character
half.
weapon, so
If you cut
traditional kind of
Adeptus
sniper role where
Mechanicus
you
directly in half,
hit him out with a
half of it
radiant
would have
tail,
the
which
coolest
familiar
aesthetic to
lots
me,
of,
and half of it would be hella stupid. And this is like my problem, but that's kind of how I feel about AdMech.
which is really useful, kind of pipping off the last couple of
Radium Jezzail,
that sort of thing.
Scatros,
He's-
transphobic
in game terms,
aqueducts.
He's a really useful little
What?
character because he's got the lone operatives ability.
Too
so he's
early in
sort
the
of
morning
a
for me.
mid-care assassin with mechanical
Anakin's
equipment,
fucked versus
and you
him,
can play him
true.
as a hunter cohort, which is like a stealth spec ops.
Yeah, he's got the high ground. Oh, hey, everyone join my Discord, by the way. I always forget to say that during a lull in the production, and they're talking about 40k
Good way
here,
to
so
keep
like, who
your,
gives a shit, right?
infantry alive at range and kind of compete with the other kind of big hitting infantry of the game.
Anyway, TY.
But there's loads of other ways to play them as well. So
Since-
you've got things like
I don't know, man.
You can lean very heavily into
People
the
are using
tech
Twitter a lot
priest
less. I gotta
aspect
figure
and
out a different way to market. Discord's pretty good,
things
but
that are called apart
what
from
else we
Cult
gotta do?
Mechanicus. You can lean very heavily
Also, dude,
into
I'm working on a
having,
script.
a Cybernetica cohort, which
I
means
finally
that
caught
your
up with a lot of the work that I missed out for
or your
being sick
robotic
and almost dying for half of a
benefits
month.
of the army special rules.
And so,
in that way that we've seen with lots
it's
of the
time.
attachments,
working on a script for a new vid. I got 2 in the tank. They're
They're
boring, but you probably want to watch them maybe. I don't know. I got a bunch of ideas, and I'm working on them.
Which is good fun because the Adeptus Mechanicus
Twitter
is
taking a big fat
really
out? Yeah,
fun
for
to
sure,
have
yeah.
unique different unit types. And you can
Twitter
have
is
some
still alive
wild
through
different
momentum
ones. You
alone.
go all infantry, you get
It's
very
just
different
inertia,
robots.
right?
You go
Because you
lots
can't
of robots
be
and
that
lots
big
of
and
tanks
just
and stuff.
die. But the place is even worse than it used to be.
Yeah, it's a really fun model. It's a really fun model.
It looks like me in a pair of shorts.
I think
Luckily,
think
summer's over now, so-
I
Can't
it's
wait
probably
till you're
fair to
next
say
every
that
army in
this
30
one,
minutes.
Is a little bit
Should I do one of those at the end of
It's
third, or
so
should I just
full of
wait till
effort you've
fourth?
gone, this is really weird.
I suppose
And then that kind of either turns
whenever
into,
you
I
do
love
it, it's
or-
going to be out of
like
date
what
as soon as the next 2 battle tomes come out, right?
If you like the
That's
kind of
the problem
absolutely
with that
wacky
thing.
Blanchest Chew
Why not
style,
both? Yeah, I suppose I could just
but
milk it
the way that
forever.
you can see this
Man,
guy
I really should have
walking out of the pages
hit
of
the
like a
in that
early
most
90s
recent one I did.
50K
Damn, dude, I really
art
should have
style
put like
thing.
what the
It's
pictures
really wild,
meant.
it's really wild.
I thought it would be
And you can have a few of them in
engaging to
army
the
as well, so
audience,
once
and
you
I'd
have
do a
2 or
second
3,
video and explain all of it, and that's where I'd
make
put
it a very
that
scary
extra 20
battlefield
minutes
where
of
you carry
content,
wander
but
around it.
Yeah,
I don't think it worked out.
that's awesome.
There we go. Yeah.
Cool, good stuff.
Very
Yeah,
weird.
lovely.
I think I
We're-
should have
we're
just
close to
explained
that.
them.
Shall we-
Close
shall we
to
crack on?
finished. Yeah, let's do it.
You
yeah.
know. Oh shit. Dagron? Holy shit. Cryptborn something striker.
Lord Relictor.
Knight Dragolictor.
Awesome miniature. I think possibly the best looking centerpiece miniature yet for the Stormcast.
Ionis
I
Cryptborn.
mean, dragons have been part of Warhammer for pretty much since its inception, really. But,
Yeah.
and I think that this is an absolutely phenomenal
Warden of Lost
centerpiece kit
Souls.
for the Stormcast. It's a really, really cool kit. There's
Damn, this
obviously-
shits on
you're
the
spoiled for choice
the
with
previous
Stormcast.
2 reveals, huh?
Heart of your force. You've got
Dude.
Lord Celestance on Star Drakes and
Lord
Celestine Knights and all sorts. There's something
Dragolictor.
about
Are we
this
gonna?
that
Can we do that? Can we
one
call
of
it
the
that?
best Stormcast. Actually, one of the best Warhammer miniatures I think we've ever made. It's absolutely awesome.
And the return of the.
Have fun gluing that together. Literally, I will.
Yeah, so
I
let's
like
talk
to
about
assemble
the
models.
character in the
That's
lore a
one of
bit
the reasons I
before
play
dive
this
into,
game.
To the miniature, but
Nice
character in the lore,
Drago
I
tail,
always
too.
want
Kinda
to
reminds me
go
of a
quite
magic
familiar with
card.
as the Lord Relictor, who was battled alongside Vandast Hammerhand in the very first Warhammer Age of Sigmar box set.
Oh
when
yeah, the one where
Sigmar was
Archeon
first
killed
alive
every
in the realm of
hammer
fire
of Sigmar to a man, including
Vandus.
Vandus.
What he's been up to in the time
Yeah.
since basically is he's been searching for a cure for the reforging of the Stormcast. The more they get
Cool, okay, we got some
battered
lore.
and reforged, the more they kind of lose a little bit of their self,
Yeah, they
their
become mindless
identity, their
automatons of
humanity
combat,
as they
yeah.
get reforged. And he's been kind of wandering through the realm,
Nice wings.
looking for a cure, and he hasn't found it basically. And, as
And now
kind
he's made out of
searching for it,
skulls.
he has
Narrator,
found
he hasn't found it.
companion in the
Okay.
shape of this new dragon. So Lewis, I think you to
No
me,
flight
knowledge,
stand, good
tell us
call
about
out,
what the dragon
Fenrir.
is.
Oh yeah, so Ionis found this dragon.
Look at
with
this
him.
dude.
So he's sort of once kept safe by the Seraphon, but is now sort of prematurely aged after spending a couple of years too close to another deer, basically. So
Okay.
the Drake is sort of looking for the location of his race's underworld, lost after their era-spanning slumber.
Oh, okay. All right. Because
also
Kragnos
wants
killed all of
to
them on the
free it from
surface
the
of the
grip,
planet,
so
but we didn't
to
know
sort
about
of,
that Drago
want to find a way to
Baranzan or
sort
whatever
of
under the
solve
ground.
friends
Got it.
together, so they've sort of bandied together to do that. So
Cool.
story there for-
So this guy's been living in the realm of death, basically.
Yeah.
So he's, even though he's one of the newer born dragons, because we know
This
that the
guy's been
Draco
living
race
on a
kind of
prayer.
almost wiped out, basically, and then they were kind of protected by the Seraphon. Because he's been going through the realm of death, he has aged kind of in that time, basically. So you've got these two very kind of macabre versions of their factions heroes. You've got the Stormcast, who's probably the
Yeah,
most
this is
gothic
sick.
looking Stormcast we've seen to date, right? So we've
Good,
seen a
this is
few
what I was
Relictor
hoping
style characters before with a couple of skulls. but
we would
nobody
just have
went
the
all in.
slightest,
Yeah, it's
the
still
littlest
macabre.
He's gone
pivot
all in for
on the
skulls
Stormcast
everywhere.
very,
aesthetic.
very Halloween.
Just a little pivot, and it's so
and then
sick,
the dragon
right?
is a much more kind of wizened,
A little more
ancient
voodoo, a little more
dragon.
Catholic.
Things like some of the storm drakes or the star.
Does that dragon have a neck beard? Those are
but
chops,
I think
okay?
a really, really awesome
Chops,
Sentinels
right.
kit, and a really cool
Dragon has
evolution
chops.
of a
The
character
dragon
we've
chops.
seen, at the start of the
Yeah,
Age of
definitely.
Sigmar.
It's not a
I
neck
think
beard.
this
Neck
is
beard would be
phenomenal.
down there.
And it's just a bit of a reminder, guys, for those of you who
Yep.
maybe weren't with us at the start of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, this was
There's a
Ionis
bit of lore.
in his initial
This
incarnation
right
of
here
first
is
Age of
that
Sigmar.
guy's
So he's
own
got a few
skeleton,
skulls.
Yeah.
which
He's
is
got a
super
couple of
sick,
skulls. He
actually.
is carrying around a skeleton, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
It's his own skeleton.
yeah,
That's the
his
headcanon.
journey has kind of taken him from glorious golden hero all the way to walking avatar of death.
Brutal.
And in kind of lore, what happens is he'll show up on the battlefield, and then any of those Stormcasts.
Relictor or Castellan, Skull versus Lantern. Why not both? It seems
he takes
when you're
away
building a
the
Stormcast
control
army, you
and
take both. So
So he has a fairly grim task to accomplish now after the failure of his ability to solve the curse. The first time you'll be able to get this guy, he
Lantern.
comes in Cryptborn Stormwing, which is basically a box set with
And then
him
two other
and a couple of drakes. And one of the things you can do with Ionis Cryptborn is you can use him you can put him in a standard Stormcast army, and absolutely you can use him in any Stormcast army you like.
Right.
But you can also use him as a specific army of renown, which is all Drake themed. Basically.
Army of Renowned, all
So you can have this
all
guy
dragons.
who uses
Okay,
Drakes,
right.
Just to kind of.
Cool.
Who would not want to do that?
I mean,
I didn't know where that sentence
was
was going. They're like, one specific thing about this guy is that you can use him. Excuse me.
Cool.
That's an awesome.
As the leader of your army. Okay.
I think that the next model though, that model's amazing, but
Oh,
I think
yeah.
the next one I actually prefer.
Oh, the
because
next
that
one is
is
better?
fantastic.
All right. I'll wait. The next one's better. He's got the mount from opening the gates.
That is a good one.
That's a good-
Belthanos.
that's good.
Belthanos, the first Thorn.
Bug
of Kurnoth.
tree
So,
hero,
a brand new hero
Belthanos.
for the order for the Sylvaneth. So what do you know
First
about
Thorn
Belthanos
of
anyway?
Kurnoth.
So Belthanos is a really interesting character, but both in terms of
This is
models, obviously,
very,
spectacular,
very on Courage.
but the
Which,
the lore
I
of
mean,
this
I
guy is
like
really
the
interesting because
aesthetic,
He is
so.
the first Thorn of Kurnoth. Kurnoth.
He's
is
like a
the
Karaji battle
hunt.
tank.
Anybody who's familiar.
He
with
was the one where everyone in the guild farmed up
fantasy battle,
Silithid fragments for
Kurnoth
him.
was, kind of had
Did
his
some
avatar
world
in
bosses.
Orion, and was kind of generally worshipped by the elves of the old world. In Warhammer
He's
Age
got
of Sigmar,
leaf cape.
he is believed to be lost or slain. But this guy Belthanos is effectively keeping the dream alive, basically. So
He's
he has
keeping the dream
the
alive,
Lord of
all right.
Kurnoth, and he kind of leads effectively the wild hunt through the realm of life. And he is leading at the head of this Kurnothi force, effectively. So much like we saw with with Ionis, you can use this guy either in a standard Sylvaneth army, or you can say, actually, I'm going to lean all the way into the concept of this guy's army of renown, and you can
Army of
have a
Renown.
whole force of Kurnoth hunters and Kurnoth.
Oh, it has a
spies,
proboscis.
riders and revenants,
Did you see that?
and have a
Or
very
not a
fast, very different
proboscis?
feeling
What's the thing
Sylvaneth force.
that
The character
a
himself,
moth
in game
has?
terms,
It's
is very good.
all
So
rolled
he
up like
is
fruit by the
effectively
foot, you know, and
Avatar of
it's
Kurnoth
for
in
getting
Warhammer. So he hits very hard,
nectar out
fast,
of long flowers.
you don't quite
It
get
has
a
one of
sense
those
the size
all
of the
rolled
model
up
there,
here.
but, the rider
What's
really
that thing
inside,
called?
He's slightly bigger
Fruit
than
by the
Kurnoth
foot?
hunter, so that
Yeah,
beetle that he's on.
Proboscis, that's it.
Creature.
I think it's not a scrotum.
Pretty big
That's
monster.
different.
So this guy can
Good
go toe-to-toe
try
with some
though.
of the
It's
biggest
called a sippy
kind of,
straw. Yeah.
You know, dragons and monsters and great heroes of the mortal realms that come out on top. But particularly at the head of
that means that this guy is very non-violent.
Smash through,
he's just looking for nectar,
he's
right?
A very, very kind of strong character.
Maybe.
So really interesting addition.
I don't know.
Sylvaneth
Maybe
brings in an element that
he
a lot of fans
he
have been
follows
begging to see,
peace.
like more of that
He only comes out at night. That
very
beetle's
cool
gonna
monster,
suck. Good
and
meme
very
if we're talking about
as well. So I
getting
think it's a
nectar
really
out of a
exciting,
flower.
Addition to the Sylvaneth range.
Yeah, really good centerpiece as well, and like that looks like it's going to be so much fun.
Nectar, damn near killed her.
Really,
Yeah,
really,
true.
really cool.
It is,
So
yeah.
I mean, it looks like I think a kind of
Once again,
Firefly
AOS lads
device.
eating good in this
It's a
preview.
fantasy
Always,
creature. It's not based on anything, but
always have
it
been.
looks lots of
Blood
elements
is
there
the
very
nectar of
similar to kind
mortals.
real world insects and things, and you could paint that whatever color you wanted, but I think that kind of red is very striking.
Yeah, okay.
Green grades
You're not
well,
wrong.
right,
I get it.
just deadly,
Mhm.
right?
It's really good.
Maybe
yeah,
he
it's
is
really,
violent.
really good in game. So it's very fast. It's very killy. So you've got the guy in the back has got is effectively a lord level.
Could be like the brain
Colonel
sucker from
Hunter, and they're already
Starship
quite good
Troopers.
at
Yeah.
it, So you can imagine his stats are going to be pretty scary.
Right.
He's got himself a ward save. It's got 14 wounds. It moves 12. So it's a
Got a
big
ward
threat.
save, move 12 flying. You
He's
love
not
to
allowed
hear
be
it.
nearby to run and shoot. So what he does really for a Sylvaneth army is give you a very different way of approaching
Run
the
and
game,
shoot.
because at the moment your Sylvaneth armies are quite
Run
relatively
and toot.
defensive, right? So you've got lots of things that zip
Run
around
and
take
shoot,
different
run and
positions.
toot.
It's a kind of standoffish sort of force. This guy throws that out the window and goes, "I'm just going to charge you. I've got a big load of spikes,
Let's
and
go."
we're ready for a charge.
Got a
We're
big
very
load
fast. We can get
of
right into
spikes."
your face very quickly, leading that kind of wild hunt across the realm. So it's a really fun way of approaching that army. And the Sylvaneth army looks great already, right?
Yeah,
so
it's
it's a brilliant
beautiful.
addition.
Yeah, this shit is
Really
sick.
is. Fantastic addition as well.
Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah, he
both
doots
of
as he
these characters,
pleases.
are part of the ongoing narrative of Age of Sigmar. So,
All right,
if we-
surely there
if
couldn't be
we-
another Age of Sigmar, right? Yeah, it's time for future shoots. Oh, ooh, ooh. Dude, I'm hearing two audios and the voices of Oida.
And a super sneaky little teaser there for you as well that just popped in before.
Yeah, was that an
Yeah, so
extra large magma droth, or was that
before
just
Dawnbringers Book 3, The Long Hunt. So this continues.
was that
the
an
story of
extra
Dawnbringer
spiky
Crusades
magma
before
droth, or have I
the
just not
last
been seeing them
host.
recently?
So where are we up to in terms of sort of the Dawnbringers narrative, Eddie?
Yeah, so I'll try not to spoil too much
Oh,
of
yeah,
what's
of course,
going
like,
on,
you know, no
because
spoilers.
some people might still be reading it. But fundamentally, the Dawnbringers is about
The
the
long
twin-tailed
boy
crusade
hunt.
of
Look normal? Okay, maybe it's just
of Age of Sigmar.
It
You've got
looked
two
normal,
forces
definitely
that are
new.
kind of,
All right.
moving out into the realm of fire and the realm of life, and they're coming up against all sorts of enemies and kind of trying to overcome them. Recently, they've just bumped into a vast marauding horde of Troggoths,
Yes.
led by
Hey,
the
look, it's
Troggoth
corn.
king. And now they find themselves attacked in one realm by the forces of Khorne, which is the original nemesis, basically, of the Stormcast in the very first battles in the Age of Sigmar. And in the other realm, they're up against a
We've got some
marauding band
vigilers
of,
in the background.
ogres, basically, particularly gorges. So a lot of these are using rules from putting into Age of Sigmar lots of the things
Particularly
you've seen pop up in
gorgeous.
Warcry.
Oh,
for
rules?
example,
Hold up.
Here's your.
Friendly Gorge is not wholly within
gorge
one of a
force.
terrain
You
feature at
could
the start of your
have,
charge
if you're
phase.
not
Can attempt to charge even if they ran.
You can have an entire force of butchers and gorges with the Maw Pit at the center of your army. And what this basically lets you do is, if you really like the
Butchers and
gorges,
gorges.
which, you know, why would you not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very cool, very, very different way of playing ogres as well. You can make an entire force around these kind of ravenous.
You can buy
cannibal
10 boxes of
maniac
these. You can do it.
ogres, which are even scarier to fight against than normal ogres are. And of course, there will also be rules to use these guys in normal games of Age of Sigmar as well.
Please tell me I'm able to throw and kick things into that huge.
You absolutely can, yeah. If you've got a Maw Pit on the battlefield and you've got a butcher nearby, you can throw models, basically enemy models, into the pit.
That's all I needed to know.
The other thing that's quite fun about the Maw Pits in Age of Sigmar specifically is that usually if you've got a monster, you can smash enemy fortifications, and you can still do that.
Right.
But if you fail to roll against the Maw Pit, it bites back. So if you've got a dragon or something that tries to smash it, and you roll,
Oh, that's
one
funny.
or two to smash it,
That's
does,
a funny
some
rule.
stupid, like 3d6 mortal wounds.
Jared Kruger, thanks for the big
It's
prime, by the way.
cool. So it's quite a risky proposition to try and take it out. Basically,
It's
so
not
that's
really
the
that
fun
risky.
we've got those in.
I bet it's like a D3 mortal
The book
wounds.
also has Belthanos and Ionis and a few other kind of key characters and taking part.
Okay, yeah, it was a normal one, just painted differently.
A very popular new addition to Warcry that's on pre-order at the moment.
In your movement phase, you pick one friendly
Flame
Flameseeker unit holding than
Flame Seekers
6.
are effectively
Not yet moved.
trainers of Magmadroths, basically.
It will hitch a lift on a Magmadroth. Yeah, we're creatively bankrupt, and so now we're just stealing KO rules for Fire Slayers. Sure, might as well. Why come up with something new? Just copy what you did already for some other army, so the unique rules are diluted, and everyone kind of has them. Yeah,
with your little units of Fire Slayers, and they can transport.
yeah, you can deposit them more than 3. Yeah, sure.
Of your Fire Slayer army, because they're very good in defense, very good at attack, but they're quite slow.
Said 3d6 mortals if you don't kill the Mopot. That's hilarious.
You can hop on the back of these Magmadroths and kind of transport you around the battlefield. It gives you just a really fun new way of approaching doing a Fire Slayer army, and of course you'll also
Yeah, might as well soup up all the dwarves. Please don't do that. Don't do them like you did my boys, the orcs, and actually the ogres as well.
Some of the Dawnbringer books is they tend to lean into
some of the Gits as well.
Alliance, so we had
I don't know why the Gorgers have that terrain thing. What does it matter if they're close to terrain? That doesn't make sense to me.
In this book, and then going forwards, you can expect
like they have run and charge as long as they're not standing next to a building. Why?
Yeah,
I don't know.
This book also gives a chance to kind of for Ionis Cryptborn and Belthanos to do something
Open
cool.
field.
So like, they don't just go, here's a
run
new
and
character.
charge.
Isn't that nice?
If there's
go,
there's like a well
he shows up and he
in the middle of that open field,
basically, and go, oh, looks like he's gonna face off against the blood.
Stop right there, criminal scum. You can't.
There you go.
I don't know.
Cool.
What is the nature of a Gorger that stops them from being fast if they're near a terrain feature?
Should we have a look at it properly?
Let's do it.
Switch hats? Sure. Are we getting the 40k thing that the AOS thing just blasted off of the... Yeah, we are. Okay, kill team.
Yes, a new season, a new setting, and 2 new teams.
Ahem. Now if they stand next to a building, it's wholly within 1. They have to be inside it because their base is greater than 1, but also not a garrison. Oh, so then it probably almost never matters, does it?
Yeah, so,
okay, well, as long as it doesn't matter.
Scouts were on the way, so we confirm this will be the first place you can get them.
These dudes' proportions look so goofy.
For a lot of fans, especially people who are fans of the Eldari craft worlds, is
they're looking weird.
Aspect is released for the first time in this box. We'll get a release later.
Big
on,
weird head,
as well. So
noodle body,
kind
of rounded looking stuff.
Eldari. They have trained in their aspect to be kind of silent killers.
Top knots.
They'll sneak around, get up
I
close,
don't know.
and then
Next is Minions things at tier 1 for 28 months. Just join what you missed. Good meme.
Or with the pistols. So very scary up close unit. That makes them an excellent kill team because they are basically already...
You don't get why so many people like different posed dudes in spacesuits. I happen to really like sci-fi, and I happen to really like spacesuits as well. Normally. To me, this is kind of Resident Sleeper, but in a vacuum, I actually like sci-fi probably more than fantasy.
Or you can give them one great big walloping fighting blade, double-handed chainsword.
For me, just AOS's models are like interesting, and this isn't.
Options and head options. So if you're leaning into the Yunari aspect,
to me they're like they're too completely just posing for the camera. You know, like they're really posing. Like in the world, someone said, "Hey, I'm about to take a picture of you," and all of these guys are like, "Okay, hold on."
They all have kind of standardized weapons and equipment. But there's lots of things in terms of posability, in terms of how do I want
quiet chainsaws.
The direction things. So there's lots of dynamism in the models you've got to play with. So as you can see there, you can build them in all sorts of different ways, and they all look quite.
Maybe it's the green.
And lots more detail as well than we've ever had on
Marvel movie cover shot, yeah.
And the Scout Squad.
Yeah, the Scout Squad. So. Not going to dwell on these.
Don't these guys look fully desaturated after that? They look like they're in grayscale, even though they're not. After the green.
You've got a squad of 10 Space Marine Scouts, and you've got all the kits, right? So you've got bolt pistols and close combat weapons. You've got shotguns and bolt guns and heavy bolters and sniper rifles. Chainsaws,
I don't think I want to see Space Marines that don't have the full armor. I don't think I want to see that.
They've been painted up as Raven Guards because they look quite.
I don't think it should be possible for Space Marines to be less than this huge, right? This level of huge, and that level is at least wearing their armor, you know? I don't like tinier Space Marines that are actual Space Marines. I don't know. I don't like that.
One of the interesting things about the way that this team plays in Kill Team is that you can.
The whole point of Space Marines is that they're fucking
have
huge.
My whole Kill Team as Striking Scorpions, in which case you just use what's in
I
the
don't know.
box, and
Maybe
then
I'm
that is a
weird.
complete Kill Team in its own right. If you want to, though, if you've got a wider Eldari
It's like
force, you can
a
also
Mega
add
Gargant army. Hey, we came out with new Mega Gargants. They're even smaller than Man Crushers. I'm like, no, I don't want that. You shouldn't get smaller than the guys you have, because the whole point is that they're like huge. If you have to use scouts, have them not be Space Marines and just be like normal men, innocent men, or something like that. Or like a robot or a servo skull or something.
There are bonuses for leaning fully into one aspect, and you can use some extra abilities and stuff and do it that way. And there's also some bonuses for kind of going mixed aspects.
Any AOS yet? Hell yeah, you missed all of it. It was amazing.
And it gives you a really good sense of like how
they're saving the Old World launch box announcement for last.
Which is good fun. So it's a
so they're saving the worst for last.
It plays very differently from a lot of the other
Switch hats, sure.
All of which previously have been. I'm going to have some kind of lance, and then lots of
they're training to earn full armor or something, but they had the surgery. Dude, the surgery has to be so expensive.
The other thing you get in this box,
they're remaking their entire shit. Why don't you just give them armor? At that point, you're wasting money. If the like, you spend $12 million taking some dude, rapid growing him into a 12-foot tall mutant, replacing all of his organs and shit, and you're just gonna let him get shot without giving him some armor? That's so wasteful. Then again, I suppose the whole point of the Imperium is that it is wasteful and unnecessary and Byzantine and all the rest. So fair enough. Yeah, the whole point of the Imperium is that it's terribly run, humongously wasteful, and not nearly as good as it could be. So maybe alright.
You must have this alongside your Scorpions. So if you do want to add in a new kill zone to your experience, you absolutely can. If you'd rather just get the new teams, you can.
This terrain is ugly, but it's only ugly because of the way that it's painted.
Like it's super different from Into the Dark, right?
I think maroon or a burgundy, I guess, or a reddish.
Was obviously very claustrophobic, very confined.
Is this supposed to be water, or is this like marble?
Have line of sight across the battlefield. You usually had to kind of move forward to get into position. This is really different, right? So this is, from a lore perspective, the Gallo Dark, which was the spaceship that they were all fighting on, has crashed into.
When you take away the armor, they end up looking like Call of Duty Black Ops. Yeah, that's why I hate it. Because Call of Duty Black Ops is fucking stupid.
The landscape and your kill team.
And so I don't like it when 40K kinda starts looking like it. Like they got those new Marines that are skinnier and they have more reticulating parts, and they got like a skull mask like in Call of Duty. I think they look worse. That's the worst look that they could do, is kind of looking like Call of Duty.
If you just want to collect terrain for either Kill Team or Warhammer 40,000,
don't like them. But then again, I don't play the game and I don't play the army, so who gives a shit what I think? But that's how I feel anyway.
So there's your what your kind of battlefield looks like, your kill zone with your Scorpions. The board as well is double-sided as well, so you can you've got a few different options in terms of how you lay it out, and all the scenery is designed to kind of move relatively freely around the battlefield too.
Tay Barracuda, thanks for the tier 1 for 26 months. Big.
Water is pretty deadly as well, so you don't.
Yeah, the color composition in this photo is like Where's Waldo? It's trying to hide all the details from you. It's a magic eye
Two really cool
picture.
Space Marine Scouts, obviously very anticipated.
And then you got the green.
We've almost every single time we've ever had a preview, somebody in the chat has asked for Scorpions.
Here they are.
There they are.
Yeah, I don't. This one, that's not great.
There you go. I'm sure they'll think of something.
Yeah.
So really cool. Yes, goes without saying. Both of those can also be used for.
It's not the worst. Look up the Space Marine Desolator Squad. I will.
Another step towards.
I'll do that right now.
Those aspects available in plastic, and then Space Marine Scouts have been redone in scale.
Space Marine Desolator Squad.
So yeah, two great additions to Warhammer 40,000 and to Kill Team.
Great, awesome.
Right. Well, we did promise some old world.
I think
news
we
today.
did, yeah. Didn't
So
we?
Desolator
I think
Squad.
probably
These
time
guys
to have a
look
at what's
way
on
cooler.
for the world that was. So
Way cooler than the other thing we were talking about. Colonel Cabbage, I think you're just flat wrong. Desolator Squad looks awesome. Those guys look cool. Unless maybe I typed it wrong and you were talking about a different one. Warhammer, the old world.
The old world, awesome.
Eh,
Heroes of
okay.
Bretonia ride again. That is awesome. That is so cool. So, Eddie, tell us about some of these glorious new miniatures.
Yeah, like this looks
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
cool. This
So,
could have just been a
we
Cities of
knew that
Sigmar
Bretonia
model
was gonna
though,
be
right?
the old world pretty much since the announcement.
And make
of
it out of
What
plastic
we're able
instead
to do
of
today
fine
with you
cast.
guys is show you basically the launch range for Bretonia when it's going to come out.
All right.
And we've got a few other bits of news about the old world for you today, but we'll start off by just having a look at some of these.
Wings looking kind of weird, but I guess
incredible
they wanted it
Kingdom
to
of
be
Bretonia, Duke on a
resin.
Royal Pegasus, who would have guessed, right? The world's best kept secret. A new plastic Pegasus is on its way.
Oh, it's
and this is
plastic.
a really, really cool.
Then why does the wing look so
new,
bad?
Very flexible kit. Basically allow you to put lots of to create lots of heroes.
Apparently it's not
on
resin, it's
Pegasus for your
plastic.
army. Pegasus is a very, very useful thing to put a hero on because in Warhammer, the old world, much like Warhammer Fantasy Battle, you want to have your general on a Pegasus or something that can fly because you've got.
Yeah, maybe it's the angle runaway
so you just want
train.
it to be charging stuff early on.
Absolutely, 100%.
So this is a really cool kit. You can make it in lots of different ways. This one is
Yeah, look at that.
Is a Duke.
It looks
Generally speaking,
refurbished.
in Bretonian society, the
Like
bigger
an old
and cooler your
laptop.
helmet is, the more
That is-
status you've got.
That's a lot of status,
and
right?
the
Maybe
more
they
kind
do
of
it-
blessed
they
by
do
the
it by
lady of the
hand.
lake
Super
you-
blessed.
You are. So
So
this
it's
guy has got
handcrafted.
Literally,
Whole church.
it's got a little church with a statue of the Lady of the Lake on his hat. So he's got to be way up there, right? So this guy is a Duke of Bretonia.
I mean, I don't hate
His
it. Yeah,
heraldry, his kind of that
it's a cool looking dude on a
red
Pegasus, right?
axe,
It's
has
just the
been
model
provided
fidelity is
across
a little
the entire
goof.
range for the
That's
old
all.
world army for Bretonia. So this is the guy who has kind of inspired that across the rest.
Maybe
of
it's
the
an
force.
old sculpt. This
Pegasus
is literally a
itself
brand new
is
sculpt,
beautiful
according to
sculpt.
them.
Maybe just jump back for a second.
Good
there,
meme,
I've
though.
taken the whole
Yeah, maybe it's meant to look
so
old.
Really, really dynamic, cool. You've got some options there on the horse as well, but it almost looks like a kind of statue of a hero that you'd find
Yeah.
in a town square or something, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
But kind of living and breathing and leading the charge.
I think, okay, maybe the sculpt is going for looking kind of old, so that it
This is one of the other ways you
fits.
can build it. So you see a few different changes there. So, it's a
So that it
different
fits
head
with the
on
rest of your
horse,
army.
Different head on the character, different cloak, different sword, different shield.
I
this
am
is your
Lord
kind of
Flathead,
barons, like your common or garden hero
the
for
cuboid
Bretonia. The
nation.
Duke is your kind of general or prince. Or something
Okay,
like that.
so
The
painting them like
barons
this
are
looks a
step down.
little
Still a very
better.
competent fighter,
Right.
but you can see his
My
hat's
Lord
not as
Flat
nice.
Top, yeah.
So you know,
Slightly less status
not, it's
there.
not
yeah.
quite as much.
Still a
status.
hat nonetheless.
He's still got a big hat. His horse isn't white either, so it's
Yes,
probably
yeah.
it's probably a slightly cheaper Pegasus. Maybe. But yeah, but you can build it in lots of different ways. There's another way you can build it as well, which is as a battle standard bearer. So
Battle
standards
standard
in
bearer.
The old world, much like Warhammer Fantasy, super important to your army, particularly for Bretonians, because they give you. Your
How would you hit someone with your sword from the back of that?
Some bonuses to combat, and you can put magic banners.
I
on
mean,
all sorts of
if you
stuff.
wanted to think about how these things would actually fight, they would have to look less cool. And I'm not willing to sacrifice
which is
there.
One of the best places for it.
I mean,
You can
absolutely,
put it.
yeah.
You can get it where you
Really show it off.
You
then
get it where
as
you
well.
want it to go to. Not quite sure how you fly. with
Killer
it,
FEC
understand.
model, true.
It's probably
Yeah.
magic, so don't worry too
Easily
much about
done,
it. Easy
yeah.
peasy. Easy peasy.
We've all been there.
But yeah, a really cool miniature. Really flexible. I think we are almost guaranteed to see
The
some
flagpole
of
is warped.
these, in Golden Demon and painting competitions.
Yeah,
because,
but
the model is phenomenal.
It's blowing in the wind. It would do that.
And not every
Copium.
knight is rich enough to afford a Pegasus.
That's right. Not every knight can afford a Pegasus or even a
Knights of the
horse.
Realm on foot.
So one of the things that
Look,
we
they have big hats.
been kind of talked about
That's
in the
fun.
lore of Bretonia for a very long time, but
And then a
never
lady inside of a
manifested
thing. That's
as
cool.
A miniature or a unit until this point is Knights
These
of the
I
Realm
like.
on foot. So a
I
Knight
like
of the
these
Realm
guys.
is
They got
your,
funny
it's
hats
the most
that look
common type
stupid,
of
but
knight
that's
of
the
Bretonia.
point.
It means that somebody who's
I
gone on
rather
a
like their
heritage
outfits,
quest,
actually.
they
I like
achieve
that.
a knightly deed of some sort.
This
like
leather
slaying
here, this shawl.
a small monster or protecting a town or rescuing a damsel, something knightly, you know.
Yeah.
And you become a knight of the realm.
Axes are looking good.
Probably got a
These
little
guys, I don't have a
somewhere
complaint
in
about.
Bretonia,
These
and
guys
you
look good.
are, honor bound to protect the peasants around it, and if your king or your duke or your baron calls you,
They
you
look
must
like
go
dismounted knights in a way.
crusade, basically.
And
so
there
Knights of
were
the
such a
Realm,
thing.
Many of them have horses, but not everyone will be rich enough to afford a horse, or perhaps their horse has been slain and they want to continue on fighting.
These would be rad for Age of Sigmar. Yeah, I agree.
Brand new unit with a couple of options. You can either give them these great two-handed.
These guys fit right in with the Age of Sigmar aesthetic, or the Cities of Sigmar aesthetic, right?
It's a really, really flexible kit. All of the heads are separate. Lots of the arms are separate. You've got loads of different opportunities to.
All the arms and heads are separate. Cool.
And you can see the story.
Use them as blackguards in human COS army. Yeah, you could use them as a lot of stuff. This is great. I like these guys.
Whatever your errant request was, which is when you go off and say, I'm going to be a knight.
Dollar store Virgin Mary candle. Yeah.
Once you'd say, I'm going to go off and be a knight.
Bloodbath and Beyond things are the tier 1 for 20 months. Plastic or resin?
Whatever it was you achieved. So if you slayed a particular
he said resin for, or he said plastic for the Pegasus. I don't know if they said plastic or a resin for these. We can only pray it's plastic.
Trinkets and things like that can tell a little bit of a story of your knightly house, and then there's lots of other little lovely details on there as well. So this is the standard and the.
If they come with all the options, you don't think. Oh, good point, Horsies. Yeah.
Lady of the Lake.
If all of their arms and heads are interchangeable, it's got to be plastic, right? That'd be so rough for resin.
The storytelling through these miniatures is top notch. Yeah. Really, really lovely kits though. Really flexible kits as well, so you get quite a few spare bits. So if you've got some of the other
look at all these
plastics, so some
locks here. Cool little world building. You'll love to see it. Nice detail.
The realm, you want to kind of mix in some of the new helmets and things like that. You'll get loads of spare arms and helmets and shields and things like that, so you can really customize the rest of your force. We're going to go through some of the plastics that are returning and show you some of those. So Knights of the Realm, very kind of the most common unit.
These I'm not in love with.
For Bretonnia, this is a returning plastic kit.
A returning, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, a returning plastic kit. That makes everything is. Yeah, I get it.
As well, if you wanted to. So they're on their way back too. In lance formation, obviously. Pegasus Knights, they're on their way back as well.
These don't look good, but that's all right. You know, you got your nostalgia. Okay, Grandpa, back to bed. Yeah, it looks fine. The wings are good.
Enormous flying heavy cavalry that can smash straight
enormous flying heavy cavalry.
Harry enemy flanks, that sort of thing. And then at the other end of the spectrum of nobility, we've seen things like the lords.
These are returning too, for sure. These look very small.
And the men-at-arms. So these
don't like them.
The lowest of the low in Bretonnian society. Really, they are the farm hands and troops that look after the castles. They are not of noble birth, but the knights very generously provide them with some level of training, and they've got kind of
those models look ancient. Yeah, they look pretty old.
This is a returning kit for.
Yeah, returning kit for sure.
We get to see them again, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And then peasant bowmen as well.
Yeah, same. Looks awful. Again, peasants, we know from ex-employees of the models they paint for marketing box images are often made of resin, and then. Oh yeah, because they're early test models. Yep.
Many of them practice with a longbow. Actually fairly competent ranged unit. If you are a Knight of Bretonnia, it is against your knightly code to use missile weapons of any sort, so you're not allowed to have...
Peasant metadomes, 200 years old, $65 per box. I don't know, maybe.
Not that they would ever admit...
I am not tempted by that.
But sometimes, they bring the peasants along just to
I'm also not tempted for rank and flank, because I'm just totally uninterested in that type of war game. Right. So... This product is just not being marketed to me, and that's fine. There's a ton of products that aren't marketed to me, which is fine. Like, no big deal. Do you want a rank and flank fantasy war game? Not at all. I got Age of Sigmar for that. I just hope the people that are drowning in nostalgia and stuff, I hope they like this. I hope they like this game. Like the actual gameplay of it, I hope people like it. It'd be a shame if, it'd be a shame if their game died and then 10 years later they reanimated it and it still sucked. Like that would be really unfortunate for those people.
If you ever had the joy of building this as a metal kit, you'll know it was not the most fun to build as a metal kit. It's been retooled and reworked in Forge World resin. So this
Forge World resin, let's go.
Detail. much easier to put together than the metal version of the past, but a really great returning kit. Alongside this, you'll also see lots of returning metal kits, and for some of the other armies as well, some other things have been kind of retooled into.
You don't know if resin is an upgrade? From metal, it has to be, right? From metal.
As well as some really cool new
Forge World
plastics
resin.
resins for some of the different armies as well. So,
Look,
speaking
Forge
of new
World resin
resins,
is better than
here are
fine
some of the
cast,
resins
but
that we've
it's
already
sure
heard
not better
on
than
the way for
normal
Bretonnians.
resin or
We've got,
plastic.
Damsel on a unicorn at the center there. We've got a couple of battle standard bearers, and we've got questing paladin on foot.
Yeah, like this stuff
we
looks
have a
good.
new, resin model
A
to
little
show you as
small,
well.
but,
so this is
you know.
the Handmaiden of the Lady. This is your wizard, basically, for
On
Bretonnian
Maiden of
forces.
the Lady.
In Bretonia, men aren't allowed to practice sorcery, for the most part. But what happens,
Sexist
is
Bretonia.
every now and again,
No male
villagers will go
wizards.
missing,
When will they
and
stop
then
keeping
they'll
my
turn
people
up
down?
Kind of abducted into the night by fey creatures, and then they will return as handmaidens of the lady with unnatural powers. Nobody's quite sure what their power comes from, or what the nature of the entities that grant them it is, but they do seem to have the blessing of the Lady of the Lake. So
Maiden
nobody
Detected
actually
Squad W.
because they get turned into frogs.
Yep, of course.
So they're going to give you your.
You need some
your
whiz
magic
tow in that
basically from
society.
Britannia. And what it does is it gives you a really nice kind of triple style for the Bretonian force. So you've got the very glorious knights and their very shining armor.
At least the Bretonians aren't maidenless. Truly, we cannot claim that they are. You are
You've
right.
got the peasants who have got kind of hand-me-down shields and poleaxes and kind of walking through the mud every day. And then you've got the handmaidens. and the
Nice
ladies,
flowers,
which have a
though.
very different aesthetic altogether. They're very kind of pristine, pure.
You know, good flowers.
Life magic made manifest sort of thing.
It's great.
Yeah, but a really cool.
Is your
sword.
human sorceress for your
And
human
that's,
blackguard and
with-
COS? Yeah.
It's pretty much what you're getting out of the gate for Bretonia. There's a few other
The
returning kits
off-white
as well,
green, the
that we'll
spearmint
talk about a little bit later
green.
on.
Yeah,
That
I
is,
do like
what's
that.
gonna be launching for
This is
Bretonia
a
when
this is a
Warhammer
nice
Old
color
World comes
scheme
out.
or a nice paint job entirely.
We can confirm today that Warhammer the Old World will be one of the first releases for 2024. So it's not going to be this year, but you won't have to wait very long at all into the new year. Before
It's
you can
getting
get it. Not too long
released.
to wait.
2024,
And then before the year is out,
20
we'll
years
have more
before we
information for
thought.
you on one of the other big factions that's going to be launching.
Amazing, exciting stuff.
There you go. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, lovely times. I think that's all we've.
I
you know,
can't
that's-
believe it. It's
that's
actually coming out.
That's what we got. Yeah.
That's it. That's all we've got. That's all we've got time for. So, what was your fave, Eddie? What was your favourite?
My favorite was the Age of
Very cool.
Sigmar
So
stuff.
I'm really excited about Bretonia because
Yes,
that was one of
me
the.
Is Eddie
I
okay?
started
Did he
with
take a
the
neck wound?
Warhammer Fantasy Battle Box.
Vampires. Yeah.
The Lizard Man. That was the first thing I ever got for Warhammer. I've got like a special place in my heart for Bretonians. But I
Give
am
me
doing
Tomb
Eldar
Kings or give me
I
death.
really like those.
No Tomb Kings?
So
They are
I like those a lot. I like those a lot.
I
And I,
like
I
it.
think it's been a very long wait for plastic.
Yeah,
to
Resident
actually go
Sleeper.
so I'm very keen to kind of get these painted up and use them, and the chance to use them as a kill team as well. I'm really enjoying kill team at the moment as a game system.
The Lord Drago
As
Lictor,
a kill team,
definitely the
they infiltrate
coolest.
their way into my
The
Eldar army.
Encourage battle tank mounted Sylvaneth guy, second place.
What a
Yeah, this shit
terrifying
is
image
tight.
In the best way possible.
This
All
is
those
sick.
Skulls. It's just super macabre, super gothic. I love it. It's great. It's brilliant.
It's very cool.
Possibly the biggest W for Stormcast
Right,
of all
well,
time. I mean, it's
we
up there
hope
with
you enjoyed,
Bastion
the
Carthalos. The
reveals,
shit's
guys.
just so good, aesthetically.
That is what we've got for Warhammer Day. A couple of things to remind you of before we head off. So it is Warhammer Day this weekend kicking off. There
It
is
is
a brand
Warhammer Day
new
this weekend.
exclusive
It's the day.
Warhammer Day commemorative miniature, which
Yes.
is the Leagues of Votan character. So you can pick that up
Okay.
from GamesWorkshop.com or from your or order it from your local Games Workshop or hobby store. If you've we go through loads of stuff in this preview today. We had all sorts of pictures and things. You might have missed some things. Don't worry, all of this you can watch back again. And you can also watch look at all of the pictures on the Warhammer community website.
We can watch it again. All right, chat.
So you can have a look at. There's probably some new angles and things.
Second
loads of stuff that we
playthrough.
haven't been able to show you today as well.
No fast forwarding.
Just to let you know, we do have another preview coming up in the not too distant future. We will have a Warhammer preview online coming from the Grand Narrative and World Championships, which is happening in mid-November.
Yes.
So you've got
Okay,
about 1 month
mid-November,
for
okay.
the next one of these great Warhammer previews.
Not long to wait.
Not long. And speaking of other great live shows, if you guys stick around, we're going to be jumping right after this show to the Tampa Bay Open in Florida, where you can watch some Warhammer 40,000
Tampa Bay
Grand Tournament
Open.
coverage with our guys over in the US. So if you're like your match play Warhammer 40,000, if you stick around, you can watch.
Just realized Stormcast Dragon is faction locked. Boo. What do you mean faction locked?
Huge thank you to Raf, our producer, for pushing all the buttons, making it all happen. Thank you to you.
What do you mean?
And thank
You mean like
to
you can't
guys
ally
for
it?
watching. Cheers. That's what we've got time for. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Good. I said it. Allies are bad. Bad mechanic. Almost as bad as mercenaries. But coalition. Subfaction locked or just Stormcast locked? Probably subfaction locked. Stormcast locked if it's more than 400. Probably not more than 400. Maybe it is. I don't know.